said, just call the police. I said, okay. So I call the police and I said, hey, look, my ex-wife and I, we had this argument. I decided to leave from this and she's following me everywhere I go. And the first question the cops asked was, well, does she have a weapon on her? Well, that's a good question. We have a weapon at the house. I have no clue if she has it or not. Now I'm freaking out. Right? Like, oh, great. Such high anxiety in my entire life. Then at that period, at that time, and it just was, oof. The minute I stopped, the police were there, everything was just let out. All stress, everything, it just kind of, boom, all collapsed to me at once. And I bawled, had no control. The first time in a very long time. Okay, guys, I wasn't planning on doing a recording today, but here it is. I'm gonna tell you about the time that my ex-wife chased me around all the way through downtown, everywhere, and I had to call the police on her. So here's the deal. We just negotiated pricing of the house. We wanted to sell the house. I wanted to sell the house and have her just move out. We both move out and we both don't deal with it. But she wanted to pay me for the house. I said, okay, if you want to pay me for the house, here's the amount and let's go for it. She agreed. Okay, so we agreed with it. We were in negotiations, finally agreed. I decided to move out. Now, I didn't really have a place. This all kind of happened so quickly. So you know what? I said, to save money, I want to live with my father-in-law. We were in good terms at that time. So I decided to move in with him. And I was staying with him for about a week until I get into my new place. So I could find a new place. And so it worked about a week, right? And then after that first week, I needed to go look at another place that's going to find. And so what happened was I told my father-in-law, hey, I'm going to be gone for a little bit. I need to go check out this place. Can you watch the kids for a little bit? It was my custody time. He said, sure, it's not a big deal. He watches the kids all the time. The kids love him. This is a pretty normal thing. In fact, he picks up the kids every single day. He's in my ex-wife's custody. So that's how familiar he is with the kids. He knows where they go to school. He picks them up. He drives them around. Really good relationship with them. So 100% comfortable leaving him with the kids. So I go out, I go drive, and I'm gone for 30 minutes. And I get a text message from my ex-wife. Where are you? Text her back. Hey, look, I'm just looking at places. I'll be right back. My ex-wife drives over to her father's house, my father-in-law's house, and is just in total rage of why I left and abandoned my children with my father-in-law. And I said, well, I told your father I'm going to be looking at a place. I need to go look at a place. And if you could watch the kids for a little bit, I told him I'll be right back. I guess he texted her saying that I just left and the kids are there and he doesn't know where I'm at. And I said, okay. So she started arguing with me right outside the house. Everyone's there. Everyone can hear everything that's going on. I decided, I don't want any part of this. So I walk in the house and guess what? She follows me into the house and she starts yelling right in front of my face, egging me on. And so I was like, look, I don't want to have anything to do with this. In fact, kind of felt like she wanted me to hit her. In fact, I've seen a lot of stories of this. Unfortunately, a good friend of mine, his ex-wife, said that she claimed to the police that he had hit her, even though he didn't. And he spent a night in prison because of that. And they finally let him go because there's no proof that he didn't hit her, but she said that he hit her. And that's a funny, weird thing about what's happening is she could say whatever she wants and it'll be on me. I'll be the one in trouble for it, even though I didn't do it. So I decided to leave because I've seen this happen firsthand from a friend of mine and I was scared out of my mind. And so I decided, I'm just going to go. So I said, look, I'm leaving. I'm not going to deal with this. So I get up, I get in my car, I drive off. Again, the kids are still with the father-in-law. They're good. They're with the father-in-law all the time. He knows how to handle them. I drive off. So as I'm driving away, I look at my rearview mirror and guess what? She's there. And well, she's kind of going the same path that she would go to go home. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just take a left here. So I take a left. I look at my rearview mirror. She's there. Okay, this is a little strange. Maybe she's going somewhere else, right? Maybe she's kind of going to the same place I'm going to because she didn't really follow that closely behind. She was further back. She was a few cars behind. And so I take another left and she's there. I'm like, okay, now this is strange. She's following me. And so I just keep going. Obviously I'm not, it would be great if I could just call her. But the last time I talked to her, just moments ago, she was yelling in my face. I'm not going to call her. So I just keep driving. I get on the freeway, follows me on the freeway. I go to downtown. She follows me downtown. I turn around. I try to do a sneak move, like really quick, fast maneuvers. She follows me all through that. And then this time I'm like, what do I do? I call a buddy of mine, tell him what's going on. He said, just call the police. I said, okay. So I call the police and I said, hey, look, my ex-wife and I, we had this argument. I decided to leave from this and she's following me everywhere I go. And the first question the cops asked was, well, does she have a weapon on her? Well, that's a good question. We have a weapon at the house. I have no clue if she has it or not. Now I'm freaking out. Right? Like, oh, great. She's gone bad. Again, as I mentioned this before, people do things they normally don't do under extreme stress. So the person that is following me is not the same person that I know. So this person is literally capable of anything at this moment and anything could happen. So at this point, I'm starting to panic. I said, okay, well, what do I do? And so the police said, all right, well, what's your phone number? I gave her my phone number. I said, we're going to give her a call and I need you to meet us at the certain police station. I said, okay. So we go down, I'm on the phone with the police the entire time and I drive down and as soon as I turn into the police station, she keeps driving, drives off and the police come comes to stop me. And at that moment, I've never felt such high anxiety in my entire life than at that period, at that time. And it just was, ooh, the minute I stopped, the police were there, everything was just let out. All stress, everything, it just kind of boom, all collapsed to me at once. And I bawled, had no control. The first time in a very long time where I just couldn't control myself. And I remember that moment because that was a pivotal moment for me where this whole thing just came crashing down on me. And I didn't realize it until that moment. I'm sitting in front of the police officer talking to her about what just happened. And so I talked to a friend of mine. A friend of mine said, well, if she's trying to egg you on to hit her, and again, I had a friend who did this exact same thing happen to him. He went to prison. He went to jail, not prison, jail for the night. And he said, you should leave. You shouldn't stay there. And I said, okay, well, where do I go? It's like, well, I could either stay at a hotel for a while, but he was like, you should just get out of town. And I said, that's a good idea. So that's exactly what I did. I got out of town. My parents live in Seattle, which is 8 hours away from where I was living previously. I drove to Seattle, hung out there for about a week. Not ended up being 2 weeks, about 2 weeks until I finalized a place to stay. So I got the contract going, the lease, everything ready for my place, and then I moved back. But in the meantime, I was bombarded with messages, calls, things of that from her family members that I abandoned her and I abandoned the children. I'm this horrible person, and all of this stuff happened, and the lies kept piling up and continuing. So while I'm home with my dad, I had to deal with all this stuff until I figured out a place to stay, because there's no way I could stay over there at the in-laws house. And maybe I can get a hotel, but you know what? It's better I just get away from the situation, right? There's no way she could say I hit her if I was living in Seattle, right? That's really the ultimate thing I was thinking of the entire time. Whether it's a valid thing or not, I have seen it happen, and I know it's completely possible. I finally found a place, and I decided to come back after my place was finalized. But I'll tell you, that part was probably the most stressful part, the entire divorce. There's many stories that happened. In fact, I'll probably create a series of stories throughout the divorce, and maybe you can relate to some of the stuff as well. Maybe you've experienced some of the stuff here as well. But I think it needs to be shared. Some of the things that guys go through the divorce and that they're dealing with at that time. And at that time, I'm still working on my business, right? I'm still trying to earn money. I got to deal with this person. I got to, of course, I got to take care of my kids, at the time I was with my kids. You got all this stuff. And I'm trying to find a place on top of that, right? So going to other places, trying to find a place to stay. You got all of these things coming on you. It's just this crushing weight that kind of goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And what it does is a test. It's a total test. Whether you believe in God or a higher power, it is a test. How much stress can you handle as an individual before you crack? And if you crack, like the way I cracked, how do you deal with it afterwards? Do you go into a complete depression, or do you figure out what to do next in your life to be able to get you to a place you need to go? And that is the test. And that's a test that it pushes you through. And that's a test by the end of it. It's like a crucible. By the end of the crucible, you're dealt with all of that. At the end of it, you become the better version of yourself than you were before. You now can handle more stress than you've ever handled in your entire life because you've dealt with it. Now, it also means a little more gray hairs and maybe a receding hairline, but you know what? You've now dealt with it. So now the situations that you deal with now going forward aren't anything compared to what you're dealing with, what you've dealt with before in the past. So that means that now you are primed to handle more stress in your life, and the more stress and different things you can handle in your life, generally the more income and the more responsibilities that you have that come with it. There's more rewards that come with handling more and more stress. It's how you deal with it at the end of it. So hope this helps. I'd love to hear some of your stories as well. Feel free to, again, like, subscribe, and comment into here. But this has been an incredible journey, really, if you think back on it. It's kind of a laughing matter, really, if you think about this at the end. And I hope at the end it will become a laughing matter for you, just something that was a wild time kind of thing. So anyways.
Hey, before you go, let me share something really exciting for you. If you're looking to transform your email management into a powerful lead generation tool, my company, Cultivate Inbox, has got you covered. We've helped industry leaders like Pace Morby, Jamil Damji, and Ty Lopez amplify their outreach and grow their businesses. If you're ready to turn your inbox into a lead generation machine, please don't hesitate. Go to my website or book a call with me and discover how to unlock your email's full potential. So don't miss out and take your email game to the next level. Thank you again for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.